Hello, this is a little impromptu live video this morning. I'm feeling a bit brave, so I'm going to make a card, and I thought, well, why not have you watch it with me while I make it. So I'm doing it from scratch. I've got my coffee. Here it is. See coffee? And I hope you guys are enjoying your Sunday morning, whatever you're doing. So join in. You will be able to watch it later, but if you're around, wave and say hi. I may not see you until the end. Oh, hi Michelle. I see you there. As soon as I set it up though with on my stand, I won't be able to see who's here until the end. So if you have any comments or anything, any questions, just pop them on and I'll answer them as soon as I'm done. Okay, so I'm going to set it up. Just excuse me while I quickly pop it into my stand. Let's see if I can do that properly. Let's see. Here we go. So you can see the card there that I'm going to be making. Here we go. This one. And it's very easy. It's not a tricky card at all, but it's a little window card. And window cards, I love them because they're special, and you can create all kinds of things in a window. But when you open this one, I've got room to write down the bottom here. So so hopefully that will be a practical window card as well. Sometimes the windows, it's hard to find anywhere to write on them because there's no space. But there is a little space down behind here. Just remember not to write in the window. Make sure you're writing down the bottom. Okay, let's make it. So I'm starting from scratch. I'm using Smoky Slate cardstock, and I'm just going to cut it in half straight down the middle. In Australia, our cardstock is 21 centimeters wide, which means 10.5 centimeters is the halfway mark. So I'm just going to start with my piece already cut, and I'll fold that in half. That'll be my first thing to do. It's supposed to be quite warm here today. Where I'm on the Central Coast, I'm just thinking, what have I done with my bone folder? Oh, here it is. Give me a second. Give ourselves a nice edge there. Okay, so I'm going to be using, on the front here, you can see I've added some paper with these other little snowflakes. It's actually this beautiful designer series paper. I love it. It's in our new holiday catalogue that was released just on Friday. And there's 4 different designs, 3 of each, so you get 12. You can see I've already chopped mine up a little bit. So this one's got the gold and the silver snowflakes. This one has what I think looks like fireworks. It's all silver. Actually, it's more, I wonder if it's silver or maybe the champagne. We have a new foil colour called champagne, which is somewhere in between silver and copper, in my opinion. More flakes. There's some gold. Oh, it looks like tartan, doesn't it? It's beautiful. I'll have to definitely play around with that. And my favourite one is coming up. Ta-da! I love this one. So it's got the copper leaves, and there's definitely some champagne. That's not silver. The champagne leaves, champagne little berries on the leaves, and it is just beautiful. So the one I'm using today is actually this one, and so I'm just going to cut it to the same width as my cardstock that I cut a moment ago. So it'll be 10.5 as well. And this piece here, I think it's 2.5, yes, 2.5 inches. Sorry, I'm going between inches and centimeters. I tend to do that. So what's that? Nearly 6.5. You could do 6.5 centimeters, and that would be fine. And I'm just going to pop that out of the way for a moment. Oh, and that. That's the bit I want. All right. It doesn't really matter where I place this on here, but I'm just going to glue this bit straight on, just with a bit of snail. Sorry if you can hear my children ferreting around in the kitchen, making a bit of noise out there. It doesn't really matter where this goes. I just want to make sure that I leave enough room at the bottom here for the sentiment, which is the Joy to the World sentiment. So I really want to make sure that it's leaving enough room for that. Excuse me, coughing. Okay, now I've also got in my bag of tricks here going to bring my big shot in. I told you it's live. I really do sort of... I've got my plates. So I thought if I go this way, it's easier for you to see what I'm doing than if I go the other way. So we'll go across. Okay, and what I need is I need a square piece, and of course I've just put those away. You can use the stitch shape framelits for these, or you can also use the layering squares framelits. It really doesn't matter. Either will work. Just got to find a size that I think is good. That's probably about right. I quite like that size. Now, you've got to be a little bit careful with your size, because if you go too big with your window, you're not going to leave enough here for the front to be substantial enough. And if you go too small, you'll see less of your little village inside. So we want to kind of... So I think either that one or the next biggest one, I'm not deciding. And I could even go for a scalloped one if I wanted to, but I think I just want a straight one in this case. I think that one might be a little big. Yeah, I'm going to go for the bigger one because I want to see more of my village. So yeah, that's I guess a choice you make on a case-by-case basis depending on what you're putting inside. I'm going to open it out. Obviously I don't want to go through both layers, and all I'm doing is making sure that I want to have about the same amount of my cardstock here as my pattern paper here, about that. I'm going to put my other plate on top, and I'm just going to cut through both layers, both the sorry about the the camera shaking. It's really bad with my big shot. I really should have a more sturdy table for it. This is what I got. And just out of habit, I always go through and then through again. I promise I won't be doing too much big shotting and you won't be shaking too much. So I'm just going to move that out of the way for a moment. Okay, so now I've got my window cut with my snowflake showing around, and it's cut out the whole lot. And it's a really nice way to get these on top here. Now I've also got some, I might as well add it now, because it always looks good. We'll do the whole of the outside first. I'm just going to cut a strip of silver. And I want that to be 10.5 as well, because it's going to go across the front of the card. So just grab that, and I'm just going to snell that straight on. Actually, it's quite funny. Sometimes I notice when I do classes, if I don't tell people they're going to use snail to stick their glimmer pieces on, they're very often trying to get the backing off it because they think it's going to be adhesive, and it's not. Try not to let them do that for too long. Anyone else had that problem? Alright, and that's how that goes there. Alright, so I'm also going to add my little village inside. So I've got a piece of white here for that. And I'm going to be cutting it also to the same width as the card. So it's also 10.5. And I'm just going to have a little look at the original card and see how long I think I might want that to be. Now, the tallest house from the bottom to the tallest house is around about 11 centimeters. Okay, so if I put this in at 11 centimeters, it's just a tiny bit taller than that top house. Okay, and then I'm going to bring the big shot back in. Sorry about the shaking. One day I will get sturdy tables. That's on my list of things to get one day. Alright, so I've got my one cutting plate there. Now this is actually what I wanted to show you really today. These are so cute. I've got this set called Hearts Come Home, which is the stamp set here with all these lovely little houses, and there's a little Santa Claus and a George of the World, some lovely sentiments and bits and pieces, stars and moons and things, and the matching framelits. So this is a bundle, is all these cute little houses, and there's just something about little houses all year round, but especially at Christmas time, that just works for me. I don't know what it is, but I love them. You've got this little one here with the little church. You've got some little houses, and then you've got the medium-sized ones. These are the ones I'm using today. There's also some cute little separate houses and some stars and that you can punch out for the sky. And this little guy, this one is a tag topper. So if you've got a 2-inch strip, you can put this on top of your 2-inch strip and make instant tags. And it's got a cute little heart hole for your ribbon to go through. So these are just gorgeous, and I love them. Right, I'm going to, I've just got to make sure I put it through the right way. So it's got to be the 10.5 centimetre way, which I'm pretty sure is that one. Yes. Okay. And then this here is going to go right up near the top. Now, the most important thing with these, they're on a slope. It's actually like a hill that they're on. So you just have to make sure that the houses go exactly parallel, the edges of the houses with the edge of the cardstock, because you don't want them, you know, if you sort of are working with what you didn't realise was slope, you'll end up with crooked houses, and we don't want that. So, I mean, maybe if they're haunted houses you could do that, but I don't think so for these ones. These look pretty, these are pretty cute. Alright, so let me get my top of my and I'm going to roll it through. Now these are fairly intricate, these dies. You could use a precision plate with them if you like the precision plate. I know that's not for everyone. And I've gone through once and through back, but before I move them off the paper, I'm just going to make sure that that has cut through to my satisfaction. It's pretty good over this side, but this side I reckon it could be a little stronger, so I'm actually going to put it up the other way just so I can keep an eye on it. And I reckon if I put it through one more time, that's probably going to be fine. Yeah, I'm happier with that. So when you've got more intricate dies, it's worth, before you pull them off the paper, and see, now that I've put it through an extra time as well, it's actually just come straight off. And the pieces have mostly fallen out as well. If you wanted to, you could use a die brush on that. Most of them have fallen out. I've just got a couple that I want to pop out. There we go. They're pretty cute. Aren't they gorgeous? Now, there's lots of things you can do with these. You can put yellow or gold behind here if you wanted to have like the light showing through the windows. I'm not going quite that fancy today. But now, the reason that I measured this first was because I wanted them to be at a certain point here. I wanted there to be enough room to write, but I also wanted my houses not to be too low in the window. If I had wanted, if I wanted to, I could have them further down, but that would give me a little bit less room for writing. So completely up to you where you position them. I'm just going to put some snail behind here and just a little bit in along some of the tops just to keep them flat. I find snails quite good for this sort of thing. If you're worried about it leaving behind any adhesive bits, just sort of check it before you attach it, that your snail isn't sort of hanging in between in the holes where you can see it. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. Then you open up your card, and I'm going to position this right at the very bottom. So I'm going to line it up with my smoky slate cardstock underneath. And I'm going to push the whole thing down. And now my houses are in the window. Aren't they cute? It was like kind of like a snowy scene. Obviously you can do these in any colour. They look fantastic no matter really what you're doing. I really like them. I've done a whole bunch of cards. Actually, I like this set so much, I need to tell you something as well. And I'm just using a 1-inch punch here to punch out some, I'm going to make a glittery moon. And I'm going to snail that on in the corner so you can kind of see it. Oh, my snail's nearly empty. Not quite. Alright, so I want that sort of up in the corner there. So it's kind of coming down, you can see the moon up there. Okay, I've designed 3 cards, not this one, 3 different cards, and I've made a video tutorial to show you how to make them, and I've cut up all the pieces so that when you order with a special code, and the code is on my blog and I'll put it down below this video as well, When you order the Hearts Come Home bundle, you get those 3 card designs all cut up for you, sent straight to you, and a video tutorial to go with them to show you how to make them. So that's a little bonus extra this month for anyone who's ordering the Hearts Come Home bundle, but you do need to use the code so that I know that you're wanting that special. It's only available from me until the 9th of September. So it's just something I'm doing for the next week or so. All right, okay, so we're nearly done with our card. It's very close to finished. I'm going to be using this Joy to the World stamp here, this one, out of the set, and I'm going to use Night of Navy ink for that, because the Night of Navy ink will match my Night of Navy ribbon here. And just ink it up really lightly, make sure I haven't overstamped, haven't got any, and it pretty much, it's quite easy to line up even in the wood, because it's basically just wide. This stamp is just wider than my my whole card. So there you go. So my Joy to the World is there. And the last thing to do is add my ribbon. Now I've only just discovered this ribbon, and I think you're going to be seeing it on everything because I just love it. It is so beautiful. This is called, excuse me, my cough. It's Night of Navy, and the ribbon is called Crinkled Seam Binding Ribbon. It is beautiful. Isn't that gorgeous? And it comes in a few different colours too. So Berry Burst is probably going to be my next purchase, but you're going to see quite a lot of this stuff. I just think it's beautiful, and it's easy to tie. Let me give you a tip about tying ribbon. Okay, so when you tie ribbon, and I'm tying this right around the whole thing, just because it's so pretty, I just had to do it. I just start out by tying my ribbon in the normal way, the way you would tie a pair of shoelaces, you know, right over left kind of thing. And then I hold it in place and I turn it over. I just find if I tie my ribbons upside down, my bows upside down, the tails of the bow, these bits here, are more likely to go down the direction I want them if I tie my bow upside down. Now this just works for me. And it did take, don't ever think that there's people out there that actually get ribbons right the first time they tie them. That just doesn't happen. You have to fiddle with your ribbon to make it look the way you want it to look. You pull the tiles, you pull the bits and pieces. Nobody gets the ribbons right first time. So don't think you can't tie ribbons. It's just a case of practicing. But this crinkled ribbon is actually really easy to tie. How pretty is that? See how nice it is? And you can easily, even if you put it in an envelope, it easily fluffs up again. And because it's crinkled, it's meant to look like that. So, right, let me grab my ribbon scissors here. And I'm just gonna, if you cut it off on an angle, it's less likely to fray. So I find cutting things off on an angle like that is well worth it as well. How pretty, isn't that nice? Oh, look, a little bit of something in there. So if you like this set and you were thinking about getting it, do use the code that's on, it's up on the top of my blog if you're looking for it. I'll put the code, like I said, below, but there's also a on my blog a tab up the top that says the Hearts Come Home online class, and the code is also listed there. Okay, so any questions, just ask me. It comes in wood and it comes in clear, so you don't have to be locked into one type. It's red rubber, but the framelits come with it as well, and I just think they are beautiful. And this ribbon, my gosh, it's to die for. The only other thing you might need for the online class is a Night of Navy Inkpad if you don't have one. So I'd grab that. It's such a useful colour anyway. But I hope you enjoyed that. It's a beautiful Sunday here on the coast, and I hope whatever you're doing, you have a fantastic day and hopefully find some time to create. Have a great day, guys. Bye.